Whoa there, stop right there, buddy. What class you rocking, huh? Oh, alright then. I guess you're free to enter the club. Oh, one more thing.
Hope you can guard more than once.
A class built around applying debuffs and reflecting incoming damage upon your enemies. I think I got Bansher figured out, so let us dive on in and check it. Bouncers utilize two weapons, soaring blades and jet boots. These weapons focus on supporting other classes in battle by applying debuffs such as physical decline, elemental decline, and decline gelling effect. The physical and elemental decline skills function in a very similar way with their effects. Afflicting enemy downs at a faster rate is the key. Soaring blades will assist other melee and ranged weapons with inflicting physical downs faster, and jet boots will help other technique weapons with inflicting elemental downs. Utilizing both these weapons in combat allows you to not only assist other players using different classes with downs, but also allows you to take advantage of the skill Decline Gelling effect. This skill reduces the attack power of enemies up to 10% whilst affected by a decline skill. It can be reduced further by an extra 2% when both declines are active. Bouncer's class skills are definitely one of the most useful skills as a main class or a subclass. These skills include Defeat PP Gain, Decline Amplifier, Defeat Amplifier, and Partial Destroy Advantage. Gaining 50% PP when the enemy down effect occurs is no joke, as some classes usually burn through most of their PP before the break. These two skills focus on enhancing your accumulation rate. Having these maxed out is a huge part in Bouncer's role as a class, as these will only benefit you the higher the value. This is the most important skill for Bouncer, increasing your damage by 2% as well as reducing the damage taken by 4% just for destroying 3 breakable parts. It can also be utilised with a subclass. The max values are slightly lower, but it will still benefit you nicely when used against enemies with breakable parts. I recommend taking all of these skills if possible, as using both weapons will be very useful. However, if you prefer to only use one weapon, you can free up some points to use elsewhere. Here is my current Bouncer skill tree. As you can see, you'll have enough points to take the majority of skills. Some skills don't necessarily have to be maxed out in order to fully effectively use Bouncer. As an example, in my build and gameplay, I don't find Photon Blade Protect and Decline Gelling effect as important to invest into, so I have not used any points into these two skills. Jet Sweep Jolt's short cooldown with 2 points invested is more than enough of a cooldown for me personally. Reducing the cooldown by 10 seconds per successful dodge or weapon action use is already very useful in my opinion. I'll be diving a little more into my Soaring Blades builds in this video, as they are a lot more diverse than my Jet Boots build. But if you'd like to see a little more about how Jet Boots perform, feel free to check out my Jet Boots review video above. The Fanatic Blade active skill is mainly used for its consistent damage and amazing PP recovery. It's great to use whenever it's available, as it's basically free damage waiting to be used at any range. Pinion Blade is your highest damage attack. Although it takes a few seconds to perform this skill, it can be used in adjacent with other Soaring Blade actions. I'll be showing some of these scenarios in a bit. These skills focused on negating damage and countering with the use of the weapon action during a PA. Blade Art's Parry Counter Edge works more like a damage reflecting skill, which does lean a lot into the true identity of Bouncer. Blade SC Alternation is a very strong variation of the sidestep counter that performs an attack that quickly rushes towards your target. This is even more insane when it's used in combination with Blade Art's Parry Counter Edge. Special Ability Optimization allows us to build gear focused on technique or melee damage. It takes the highest stat value and applies it to both of your weapons. Very useful if you have other classes with specific attack types, or if you simply want to save some Assetto on the cheaper attack type augments. Jet Intensity is good for downs, as not only does it deal an insane amount of damage when you land a full attack, it also recovers Jet Sweep Jolt back fully. Boot Trick Bounce Counter can really be great for scenarios where you can exploit enemy attacks that linger around the battlefield. Now that we've got some of the important skills covered, let's dive into some of my class builds for Bouncer.
Please stand back. I'm sorry. My one-time god. I'm your bouncer. I'm your bouncer, cause I'm sorry.
Bouncer fights with my most used build for Bouncer, as these two classes synergize extremely well together. Increasing your damage during downs by 10% is obviously perfect for the class that mainly focuses on inflicting enemy downs. Bansher Tekka is a very niche build that I like to utilise from time to time. Longer duration quests like Darkfeld's Aegis are great when using Photon Blast orientated weapons like the Neos weapon series. Bansher Force allows you to utilise Jet Boots with Force's class technique skills. Did you know Jet Boots can actually accumulate these skills with just the use of its PAs? These two builds focus on fun rather than maximum effectiveness. Inspired by the PSO2 Scion class Etoile, except it obviously isn't, let's be honest. However, it's still fun to reenact the damage resistant bonuses by utilising Hunter Physique, Welfare Management, or Flashguard skills. Bansher Slayer is a very good class pairing if you aren't using Burst Smelts, as increasing your critical hit rate will always be beneficial for consistency. I'll most likely transition to this in the future, if I eventually get a higher rarity weapon to drop. But you know, RNG, am I right? Let's now move on to some of Bansher's PAs and rotations. Knowing what PAs to use in various situations will allow you to adjust to each situation accordingly. Bansher's class weapons excel a lot more against single targets, but it does have the tools available for multiple enemies if needed. Soaring Blade's gameplay goal is to make the most of your high mobility to find opportunities to use the full PAs. Successfully blocking incoming damage will help you succeed in doing so. Soaring Blades can still be very jarring to use in general play, mainly with the fluidity of some of its tools, but with enough training, you can eventually get accustomed to a gameplay loop that works. Let's take a look at some of these useful tips and tricks. The main strategy to aim for will be the utilisation of BAP plus sidestep countering. This works by using Blade Art's parry and sidestep countering, both within the same attack contact frame. This allows for one of the strongest melee combos in the game. This is the only way to utilise BAP twice in one combo. The Skip Arts version of Destructive Stalk allows you to transition into another PA. You can dish out further damage with Fanatic Blades by performing repeatable encore jumps while this skill is active. Understanding a Photon Blade delay timings after using various actions can help you add a little more damage and PP recovery within your rotations. This is a great tool to have in your back pocket in case you get caught out trying to recover PP with the use of normal attacks. Jet Boots on the other hand are a little more simple to use. Imbue your Jet Boots with an element and go to town on enemies. This is done by mixing PAs together and building up the elemental down factor for you and your fellow teammates. Learning the timing for Surging Impulse's detonation can allow you to make use of the extra damage that it brings. This can be quite good when using Soaring Blades, as all you will need to do is swap to your Jet Boost before it detonates, to benefit from the extra damage. Utilising a Soaring Blades Jet Boost multi-weapon will yield the best results when using Bansher. To finally wrap things up here, having a couple of set rotations may allow you to reach your maximum effectiveness. Here are a few of my most used rotations for each weapon. I'd like to give a small reminder that these guides can be followed as they are in order to help you improve as a player or simply for understanding how your class works. Use this knowledge and keep on training out there to shape your own playstyle for success. I may possibly be watching. Who knows? Alrighty then, I'll leave you with the rest of these rotations. I hope you enjoyed or found this useful. I'll be heading out now, so I'll catch you around. Take it easy, peeps.